Hello everyone, this is Snoo. Welcome back to yet another video showcasing, once again, some wildly useful, extremely potent interaction tech option that I've stumbled upon through all my trials and tribulations of solo ghosting, which have been many. These times have made me think outside the box in ways to improve my character, bring extra quality of life, make added viability, especially when it comes to solo ghosting. What I'm going to show you today does not just apply to solo ghosting. In fact, it is why I am separating out the video, making a totally separate video, because this is fundamentally changing the way I'm approaching gameplay moving forward. Indeed, next league, league after that, league start, min-max, final iteration of a build, doesn't matter. As far as playing bow builds, magic find builds, ranged builds in particular, what I'm going to show you is a tiny sliver of the possibilities that you can implement to bring much added. Honestly, it's probably the biggest thing that I've stumbled upon, and it's not even any major secret. It's just something many people aren't willing to do. So indeed, I'm asking you to elevate your gameplay by implementing weapon swap for something more than just putting auras back on your build when you die and come back out into your hideout, put the auras on and go back in, because I know why a lot of people don't do that. They don't want to add any extra buttons to their build. That's the way the game has evolved, to simplify, simplify, simplify. Don't add any buttons to the build. Well, I bring that up. It's a very important point. I'm going to show you how you can do this without really adding any buttons to your build even. A major point of contention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a couple different evolutions of what I discovered and how I've improved my build, especially on the defensive side. But we're going to start by recognizing the default status quo style of gameplay here, which is bow build, attack skill, movement, travel skill. Okay, good. It has a cooldown. We all know that. That's why bow builds really need to be fast, because it has a major cooldown. I can attack. I can dash sometimes out of trouble. I can dash, move forward, get through the map a little faster, but it has a cooldown. You know what? Ever since actually playing Melee for the first time, I don't like the fact it's got a cooldown. And guess what? I don't have to deal with that anymore, because I can, while at the same time freeing up a gem slot, which is unbelievably useful if you're a min-maxer, by the way. I can't really undersell that point. A big deal to be able to remove a core gem slot outside of the weapon swap zone. And then I can get my movement skill back in, a far, far, far superior movement skill like shield charge that has no cooldown. And voila, suddenly I'm able to attack. I'm able to move forward freely, no cooldown, no problem. But what does this mean? It means I have to add a button to the build, right? Oh no, I added a button. But here's the thing. The weapon swap allows me to put the new skill on the same button that I was already using. So I was attacking with Tornado Shot, and now I'm also moving with Shield Charge, both on right click. So while I did add the button of weapon swapping, I removed the button number 4 in this case of dashing, net 0 on the added buttons. Again, bringing that point up because I do firmly believe that is probably the one biggest thing stopping people from doing something like this. It's the thought of having to actually add a button to the build. I'm not adding a button to the build. Not effectively, anyway. So, what is this shield charge? I get extra benefits, right? Because I can link it to things to make it even better than it would normally be with a dash that has 0 links attached to it. I can add faster attack support. I can add momentum support. I made a totally separate video on this potent combo. Getting swiftness into the build. This is basically the fastest shield charge links, 3 link I think you can have in the game. Probably because it has the added attack speed from momentum. And it has added movement skill potentially if you shield charge 3 times in the same place anyway. And you can see that's a mightily fast shield charge right there. But I can do more, because this is the evolution of about a week of me figuring out things to make the build stronger. If this is solo ghosting, I needed more tankiness. And if you're a glass cannon bow build yourself, you probably would like some more tankiness too. Well, why not add, oh, I don't know, fortify. Let's just add fortify into the build. We can do that, right? Let's check it out. Can we have fortify to the build? Is that legal? I don't know, let's find out. So, you know, on my bow build, I could just move forward and attack. Yeah, that's fine. Or I could start moving through here and, I don't know. Wait, I'm getting some fortify. Isn't that crazy? A little bit anyway. So getting fortify plus free movement skill. What in the world? I can dash to the boss to my heart's content. Very easy. Go up here and, you know, do my business. Then whatever. So if you're a boss rusher, you can very, very quickly, easily rush to the boss and be done with it, right? Well, we can do more. That's not it. That's not where this story ends. I discovered more upon that. We can, in fact, add fortify with endurance charges. We can add endurance charges in the build. What? We can add endurance charges into the build? Surely that doesn't carry over. Oh, you might have noticed that fortify, the buff still carried over. Even after. So the endurance charges aren't the most reliable because it's kind of hard to stun stuff, right? But at least shield charge. I'm not actually seeing an endurance charge hit on here. Depends on the map. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get the endurance charge to trigger. But, you know, if you have a stronger shield, or if you have a little bit extra stun threshold, you can definitely get the endurance charges to pop. I'm actually quite surprised not seeing a single one come up here. That's really strange. Perhaps, does it say like monsters can't be stunned? Oh, monsters can't be stunned. Whoops. That's a map mod that bricks what I'm trying to show. Okay, for the sake of demonstrating in a much easier fashion, it will just take you down here to a place where monsters aren't immune to stun. Okay, and then you'll be able to see the endurance charges. Fly up real quick. Okay, boom, endurance charge. Endurance charges, voila. Okay, there it is. Got endurance charges and fortify, right? Now, the fortify only and the endurance charges only work insofar as you're doing decent damage to the monsters. Obviously, in Act 9, I do a ton of damage, so they're going to be up more. But rest assured, they are normally up even in a T16 map. It does require you to have a decent shield, though, because that is how all of this works. Shield charge. Damage is based on the evasion and or armor of your shield. So we haven't talked about the shield yet, but I like the idea of using Mist Wall. Get maximum block attack damage if you haven't blocked recently. Get to extra avoidance of elemental damage from hits. Get to implement phasing in your build. I didn't even talk about that really, but it's not super reliable. But the most important thing here is, also get extra movement speed. Forgot that. But the main important thing here is you need a shield with some kind of high evasion and or movement. Go there. So that is good, and it has a cool 3-link here. I like the idea of putting anomalous or immortal call, casting damage taken, and increased duration, because why not? If I'm going to be putting endurance charge in the build, it seems to be a terrific synergy, right? So I think this is a great starter shield. For me, I'm going to be using an even better shield, one that actually has very high rolls on evasion. And this was the shield I used on my melee build. It will even be more reliable on the fortify and the stun. And by the way, if we want to really get the most reliable stuns, well, how about we add Advancing Fortress, which gives me quasi extra link fortify with a bunch of life on enemy hit, with added block chance, added evasion, added life on a dagger. I know this looks like a shield, but it's actually a dagger. And even some max energy shield in there for good measure. And then I can do shield charge, endurance charge on melee stun, and stun support. In this case, divergent stun support to get recovery, extra recovery on top of everything else. 1% life when you stun an enemy. So to try to make this right, I'm going to go back in here. We're just going to add, I don't know, just let's see here. Any map, 6 modded map. Maybe this will be fine. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. Some kind of map where the monsters aren't immune to stun, preferably. And let's see what happens here. This is basically my final setup. So we're going to be looking at Fortify, Endurance Charge, stunning enemies like crazy, a whole bunch of recovery through life on hit, as well as 1% life per stun, and infinite no cooldown movement. That's quite a mouthful, all of that. So there you go. You can see the Fortify is quite reliable. Endurance charges all up there. Great. Okay, I just rushed the boss room. Now, the way I would actually play this is I would kind of move through, and then, you know, ghost or not ghost, doesn't really matter. Dash when I want, fire when I want. Something big dropped, apparently. Okay, the dragons are not even trying to magic find or anything. And you can see that I'm actually moving faster than I would be if I wasn't if I just had dash. This, I mean, it should be obvious to you that this character is progressing through the map faster than I would be, even if I was just straight up running. And this is with a Mage Blood. I'm already at my fastest movement speed. I have a Mage Blood on. Imagine if I didn't have the Mage Blood on, I'd be running a lot slower. And it would be even smarter and more beneficial for me to do this. So there you go. That is also a little taste of the new build. This is a Sublime Vision Brittle Magic Find Fizz to Element Conversion Tornado Shot with Mana Forge. It's a wild build. I will showcase this build at some point, but I just wanted to show you all that amazing power that I was able to bring. The craziest thing to me about all of this is that I get a whole bunch of extra block chance. I get a whole bunch of extra life regen in the case of the shield, or it translates to rage regen. I get all kinds of recovery through the life per enemy hit. I get recovery through 1% life per stunned enemy hit. I get enormous amount of stun threshold reduction to the monsters. That means they will actually get stunned, which means endurance charges are coming in like crazy, so long as the map mod doesn't have monsters immune to stun, of course. I get fortify fairly reliably, at least insofar as if I have a high evasion and or armor base on the shield. That makes the shield charge actually do damage. So that is it. That is the fully progressed current place where I'm at. I am able to solo Ghost to my heart's content. I will come out with a video on that in short order about exactly how I'm doing the solo ghosting, but it involves doing this exact tech right here. So I wanted to show you with that. You can start with Mist Wall, get Advancing Fortress, Mist Wall, this 3-link. And we didn't even really talk about the potential of the 3-link and the shield. There's all kinds of different things you could do with that. For me, it synergizes well with the endurance charge, the guard skill. Even getting a guard skill in the offhand slot means I could potentially free up a second skill with no guard skill here. But in this case, I'm interweaving Steel Skin and Immortal Call, which do indeed kind of work back and forth, getting to have my cake, eat it too, by basically giving myself bleed immunity as well as a lot of damage reduction while I'm moving around. Really cool way all of that interacts together, giving me so much extra quality of life for my character. I just wanted to share it with you, kind of open your eyes, open your horizons to some possibilities of what you can do on an otherwise glass cannon bow build. So think about it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If there's any crazy, wild ideas you have, different things you've tried to do. Honestly, I just can't believe how much it is. Again, it's fundamental change. I'm going to be doing this from now on. From now on, I will probably always do this. I had leveled gems on the offhand. That's not as useful as it used to be. The Invictus weapon swap for Rampage, still good. I might do that instead in some cases in some builds. But if not, this Invictus weapon Rampage swap, it's going to be this for sure. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.